Today we are going to just very quickly revise the classes 1 and 2 on week 2, and there's also going to be a quiz at the end of each of this class, so pay close attention. So this week the teacher went over 8-beat cycle Mukthaayam, right? The first class we took over a very easy case where the 8 beats is divided into 3, 3 and 2, right? 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8. So the 8-beat cycle, that is Adi Talam cycle, is split into 3, 3 and 2. And each of them has this following pattern. X1, X2, Y, again repeated X1, X2, Y, and then the last time it is X1, X2. When I give a particular example, it will be very easy, but I want you to understand the structure, right? Because if you repeat the X1, X2, Y, X1, X2, Y, X1, X2, Y, that is wrong. Because the last part has only 2 beats, okay, not 3 beats in it. And this general format, for the people who have attended many classes, know that this is 3x plus 2y format. So here X1 and X2, you can club it as 1x. So you have 1x, 2x, and then 3x. And then the y comes only 2 times. Now let's take a very specific example and then we'll go over it. It will become much clearer. So in here, X1 is kitataka. Either you put a carvey for yourself or tell yourself that's a first speed, right? Like now you can either ways you can understand it. But for accuracy of the aksharams, it's good to understand there is a carvey. There is a carvey. So kitataka. First time when you say it slowly, it's actually ki, comma, ta, comma, ta, comma, ka, comma. And then the second time, X2 is basically the same kitataka, but now without any gap. And hence, you will be able to fill 2 of such kitataka in the same exact time. That will be a kitataka, kitataka, kitataka. Now, that is each 1 beat, right? Kitataka, when you do slowly, that X1 itself takes 1 beat. Kitataka, kitataka, it's 8 aksharams to a beat, so it is also another beat. Now, tam, you can think of that as tam with 7 carveys. That's really confusing to put. So I just put it tam with 3 carveys, basically making it 1 beat. Now, what you need to understand is when you do this thing, kitataka, 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 tam, that is the Y part. The second X1, X2, Y is also kitataka, 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 tam. Now in the third, when you say it, you actually say kitataka, 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 tam. But that tam, the last tam, I'm noting that here as a black to say that the cycle is over. That tam is a summum of the next cycle. So you can say that as a tam, but for clarity, I will call it finish. Okay, you finish it with a tam, but that tam is not part of this Adi Talam cycle because Adi Talam has only 8 beats. So let's take this kitataka as the example, and let's go at 70 beats per minute, and let's see 1 cycle and how it feels like. 6, 7, 8. Kitataka, 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 tam. Kitataka, 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 tam. Kitataka, 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 finish. All right, so this is one example with this 8-beat cycle Mukthaayam. Now you know that in this combination you can fill in kitataka or di dum dum di or dum di thadi or dum 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 di. So let's take one example of di dum dum di. It will sound like 5, 6, 7, 8. Di dum dum di, di dum dum di, di dum di tam. Di dum dum di, di dum dum di, di dum di tam. Di dum dum di, di dum di, dum di, finish. Okay, so you can use any of these combinations. So just by itself, it will give you 4 variations to practice. Correct? We call it as a homogeneous variations. If you pick kitataka, you will stick to kitataka all the 8 beats. Or if you pick di dum dum di, you will stick with di dum dum di all the 8 beats. If you stick to dum di tadi, you stick to that same thing till the end. You don't mix and match. Okay, so you get there itself, you get 4 different variations to practice. Now let's make it more interesting. Let's call those each, let's name those each sections with the letter A, B, and C. If you want a variation, and this is only one such variation, remember, you can mix and match, like as teacher Srinath Bala said, you can mix and match many different combinations, but I'm keeping it very clean here. So the first section, I'm calling it A, second section is B, third section is C. Let's pick one of the four combinations for A. So I like Kitataka. So I will say the entire A section as Kitataka Thom. Okay? And you are free to pick up any of those combinations. So you know that there will be four combinations you can pick up there. Now in B, because you can always repeat it, you can also pick up Kitataka or Didundamdi independent of what you picked for A. Okay? Just because you picked Kitataka for A doesn't mean that you cannot pick Kitataka for B. You can do that also. Or you can pick any one of those four combinations. All right? Pay close attention. Repeat is okay. You can, if you pick up Kitataka for A, there is nothing that stops you from picking up Kitataka for B also. So you have four combinations for A, four combinations for B, and bingo, four combinations for C also. Now this is the quiz. If you just stick to this pattern, so inside A you don't mix and match, inside B you don't mix and match, inside C you don't mix and match. You are sticking to only one of the combinations within A, B, and C. But across A, B, and C, you can change. If you do this pattern, how many combinations will you have? So in the summer workshop, you should not complain about, I don't have enough to practice. With this simple lesson, how many combinations are there? Anyone guessing? Do that, and then in the Hangout, no, not in Hangout, what are this application? WhatsApp. In WhatsApp, you respond to that. So for class 1, 8-beat cycle Mukthaayam, for the pattern I gave, I mean, this is not the maximum number of combinations. You can make even more combinations, but the pattern I kept is very simple. Within A, it is single one. You don't mix and match, right? So with this pattern, and B, you don't mix and match. C, you don't mix and match. But between A, B, and C, you can do combinations. If you do that, how many combinations can you practice? All right, that is the end of class 1. If you are practicing, you can stop here and then go and practice. I will continue with class 2 also, right, in the same videos, because I don't want to make 2 videos. And we'll continue that. But if you want to practice this for class 1, do the quiz, take the quiz, stop here, pause it, and then come back for the class 2 later. Okay, I hope you had a good chance to practice the class 1 part, which is pretty simple, right? You have 3 plus 3 plus 2. Now in the second class of week 2, you also went through in detail a Mukthaayam within a Mukthaayam, right? And there was also a third part, Mukthaayam within a Mukthaayam within a Mukthaayam. I will leave that as a homework for yourself. But this is an interesting concept, because once you get it, you can go into any number of levels also. So in this Mukthaayam within a Mukthaayam, what you're doing is you are picking the same x1, x2, y as we spoke in the class 1. But instead of the first category to be 3 beats, you're keeping it as 4 beats. Okay. So x1 is Kitataka in first speed or with Karvai. X2 is Kitataka. So saying the same thing with double the aksharams, but in the same time frame, at the same time. And then the y is Tam. Now you also add one, the first x1 again repeats. That's why it makes it 4 beats. So now you have another 4 beats to complete the cycle, yeah? That 4 beats you are splitting into 1.5 beats, 1.5 beats, and 1 beat. Singular, 1 beat, okay? And how do we make it 1.5 beats? You know that x2 is 1 beat. Now y, instead of giving Tam for a full beat, you stop it at half a beat. So instead of saying Kitataka, 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 Tam, instead of doing that, you do Kitataka, 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 Tam, Kitataka, Kitataka, Tam, like that. So the Tam doesn't have that many chords. It has only half the number of aksharams, when it comes the second time and third time. That is how you're making the 1.5 beats. So you can do the math slowly at your speed. X2 is 1 beat by itself. Y is 1 beat by itself, but now you're doing Y over 2, right? You're now cutting the pizza into half. So you are getting only 1.5 beats. And then the third time when it occurs, it's basically a repeat of X2 plus Y over 2. So that's another 1.5 beats. And the last one is X2 by itself, which is 1 beat. That's how you make the 8-beat cycle in the Mukthaayam within a Mukthaayam. Now let's do the let's do actually the combinations. So the same exact thing fits here also. You don't have to limit to kitta taka. You can do the dum dum di, taddi, dum dum di, suit yourself. But understand now you have 4 blocks, not 3 blocks. All right. So actually, let's take one example and how it goes. 5, 6, 7, 8. Kitta taka, kitta taka tam. Kitta taka, kitta taka tam. Kitta taka tam. Kitta taka tam. And the last term is finish, right? That is not part of the Aditalam cycle. That is the next cycle. So if you are doing many repetitions of that, you will not say the term. You will only say the last term in the finish when you are actually finishing it. Now let's go through the interesting part here. Just with this example, how many combinations you can work out. And as the teacher mentioned, there are many combinations. Now I'm keeping the pattern simple here. Just like the last class, we are keeping within A, you are keeping it to one of the 4 combinations. You are not mixing, so you are not doing kitta taka dum di dum di dum di tam. You are not doing that. You are doing kitta taka kitta taka tam kitta taka, right? So you are keeping within A, it is homogeneous. Homogeneous means you are only picking one and sticking to it. But when you go to B, you have a free choice. You can pick anything you want, including the same thing that you picked in the previous one. So you have a 4 fresh choice. In C, you have 4 fresh choice. In picking B, you have another 4 fresh choice. Now the quiz is how many combinations you can practice here. I'll tell you, it's a big number. Okay, if you do all the combinations just in this variation, keeping within A homogeneous and across A, B, C, and D different, you have plenty of variations to do in homework. So enjoy your practice. Happy Mukthaayaming. Answer the questions. Like you can say class 1 number of variations blah, class 2 number of variations blah. You can do that as a response to this video. Thank you. See you guys.